Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to study the third poem from your Flamingo textbook called Keeping Quiet. This is written by Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda's real name was Neftali Ricardo Reyes Bosalto. His name is rather very long, but his pen name is called Pablo Neruda, and Neruda was a South American poet, and uh, now he even won the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1971. So his poem mainly always talks about the world peace and peace that has to be kept within the human beings of the world and the goodness of human beings. And so he always talks about how we should understand each other, how human beings should have mutual understanding within amongst us. And he, in this poem, Keeping Quiet, also we are going to study about this kind of imagery and this kind of uh, scenario in this poem. So let's read the poem first. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much now. The writer is saying, now, all of us will count together. We will count to 12. Let's all count up to 12 from number 1 to number 12. So after we count to 12, let's all keep still. Let's not move at all. Keep still means that we will all stand still. We will all keep still. We will not move. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. So he wanted that no one will even move our lips to speak. We will not even speak. And we will not speak in any language. All of the people of the earth, of the all over the world, we will stop. We will count together number 12 up to number 12, and then we will stop and we will all stand still. And he says that let's not even talk. We will not even talk. And for 1 second, we will not even talk. We will not even move our arms. We will not even move our legs. It would be an exotic moment, without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Exotic means exotic. It would be an exotic moment means that this will be a very beautiful, a very unique moment, and without rush, without engines, without rush, meaning that every day we were in a rush, right? Like these days we are in lockdown, so we might not be in so much rush because we have to stay at home and we have to do our household chores and we do not have to go out. And but if we are living a normal life like before the pandemic and all, what happened is that every day we wake up, we dress ourselves, we were afraid that we are all afraid that we are going to be late for school, or we are going to be late for office or any kind of work that we are going to do today. So we had to hurry up, we had to eat meal at a very early time, and then we had to rush in order to go to school or in order to go to our office. So what happened is and then if you go outside on the streets, you can hear the sound of engines, especially in the cities. If you come to the cities, you will hear lots and lots of engine, the sound of engine, people honking their horn and everything, all the sound of the automobiles and all these things could be heard outside. So it was very noisy outside also. And the writer says, the poet says that it would be a very beautiful moment where no rush or no sound of engines could be heard. We will all be suddenly be together in sudden strangeness, means that we will just be, what will happen if all the noises of the world stopped suddenly? And then it would be very strange. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Now what happened is, the people, the fishermen who are hunting whales, They will stop. Who are hunting the fishes, they will stop hunting fishes. They will not hurt the fishes in the sea. And the people who are gathering salt in the salt mines, people who are gathering salt for as a livelihood, they're if you have never seen it, I understand, but what happened to the people who are gathering salt in the salt mines was that they will hurt their hands, because their hands would be full of blisters, and because they had to make a living, they do not have time to tend to their wounds. So the writer wants that at this moment, the fishermen and the people who are working in the salt mines would have time to look at their hurt hands. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade, doing nothing. Now, green wars means that wars where we are having, gunfires, gunshots, bombs, and all this. So, if you used to listen to the news every day, there are wars going on all over the world, not in our country at least, but if even our country, India, is also almost at war with China at the border, and everything, always these things are always happening all over the world. If you hear the news, then you can hear about it in the news. Israel and all these are, Palestine, Israel, and in the Middle East, so many wars are going on, and you could see that people are suffering because of the war. And so the writer wants that people who are fighting in the wars, they will also stop at this moment. They will stop going to war with each other, and the soldiers, they will put on clean clothes. Instead of putting their uniforms, they will put on clean clothes, and they could have time to walk about under the shade of the tree, and they could talk with their brothers, they could communicate with their brothers, and they could have a beautiful bonding with their family, doing nothing. They could be sitting down in the shade instead of fighting. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. Now, the writer says, when I say, let's count to 12 and let's stop, I do not mean that we will just count to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we will just simply stay still like this. It doesn't mean that. But what I want is, let's all count to 12 and let's go back to being normal people. I wanted no worse and no hurting each other from human beings. And if we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Now the writer says that every day people, because we wanted to survive in this world so much that we used to hurt other people. And even though our actions may be small, or even though our actions may be big, for example, the leaders of the countries, their actions could be very big and it could have a very huge impact all over the world. But for us normal people, our actions might be small, but even though our actions are small, then we still need means of survival. So we are still fighting for our survival. And so we used to hurt so many people because we wanted to survive, and we wanted to achieve so many things in our life, so much that we maybe just a small thing, like if we are studying in one school and if we are studying in one class, maybe I do not want to share a very good note that I have with me with my classmate, because I'm afraid that he or she might score better marks than me. So this is a selfish act that all of us human beings used to do. So the writer is saying that let's not do all this. Let's stop being selfish with each other. Let's all live in harmony. Let's all let us all live in harmony, and let us understand each other. What I want is, we will stop all these hurtful things and we will start to live in harmony with each other, we will start to understand our neighbor, our friend, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our parents, and then we will not threaten ourselves with death every day, even though human beings are our future. I mean, we are all going to die someday. But what happens is sometimes we threaten ourselves with death because we are at war with each other. So let's stop all this. Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go now. This poem is very relatable to what we are experiencing right now, because this is the pandemic, in this disease, a virus which could not be seen with human beings, the eyes of human beings, is now troubling the world. All over the world, we are stopping all our actions, and maybe Pablo Neruda wanted this. Is talking about this kind of maybe he doesn't want a pandemic of he is just speaking out his thought. He was just dreaming and he was just speaking out his thoughts and write it down as a poem. But what we experience right now is very similar to what Pablo Neruda had written in his poem, because he said that let's all stop our activities and let us all learn to live in harmony with each other again. Maybe the earth can teach us how to live in harmony with each other. Maybe because it is the nature that is God-given nature, that the earth during the winter season we could see that trees, they shed their leaves and everything became very dry, and the trees shed their leaves. And what happens when the rainy season comes, when the spring season comes, then they give us new leaves and the world became very green, very beautiful once again once the rain comes. So this is what Pablo Neruda says. Maybe the art can teach us how to be reborn, how to stop our actions for 1 second, and maybe we can act like all this nature, the earth, what the earth is doing. Maybe we can act like this. So maybe Pablo Neruda is suggesting that it is, like I said, it is so similar to what we are experiencing right now. So what we can do is, after the pandemic, sometime, I don't know when, but in our future, the pandemic will be over and we will begin our normal lives again. So what happened when we begin our normal lives again? As a child of my parents, what can I do? As a student, what can I do? I can study better. I can be a better friend to my classmate. I can be a better son for my parents. I can be a better daughter for my parents. I can be a better sister for my brothers and sisters. I can be a better brother for my brothers and sisters. I can be a better human being after this pandemic is over. When we start going to school again, we can all improve ourselves. This is what Pablo Neruda is meaning to say in this poem. He says that all of us, all the human beings, can improve ourselves, can improve our behavior, can improve our characters by stopping for 1 second and thinking about whatever wrong or whatever hurtful things, whatever wrongdoings that we used to do in the past, and we can forget about it. We can live a good life afterwards. Now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go now. Pablo Neruda now says, I will count up to 12 right now, and then you start to keep quiet and then I will go. Maybe, like I said before, let's make this time, because this is very relevant to what we are experiencing right now. Maybe the virus is telling us, all human beings of the world, now you will stop talking, or you will stop whatever activities that you are doing right now. Maybe we can all count up to 12 together. All the human beings of the world can count up to 12 together. Maybe this is what nature is teaching us. nature wanted to teach us, or whatever is, maybe this is what God himself wanted to teach us. You keep quiet and I will go. So after we learn, maybe after we learn to live in harmony with each other, only then maybe this virus is going to stop. This is what Pablo Neruda is also asking us to do. I will count up to 12 and you start to live in harmony with each other, and only then maybe I can go. So with that, now this at the beginning of the lesson, this is what I am talking about. Pablo Neruda wanted to teach us mutual understanding of human beings, and the feeling of goodness that human beings is having. This is what he wanted to teach us. With that, we have finished our lesson. Again, I suggest that you read the poem, you read the textbook, your Flamingo textbook. So always I'm suggesting that you read your textbook even though you do not have your notes with you. Then if you read your textbook, nothing is going to be difficult for you. So I suggest that you will read your textbook after you finish watching this class also. Maybe then you can go back to reading your textbook once again. So with that, we will finish our lesson. Thank you, class.